The enormous Eldorado Gold Dredge in Victoria's northeast worked for about 20 years from the mid-1930s, excavating huge quantities of the gold and tin-bearing river flats on the Eldorado Plain. During this time, the dredge processed around 30 million cubic meters of riverbed, obtaining over 70,000 ounces of gold and almost 1,500 tons of tin concentrate. This is the largest surviving dredge of its kind in Victoria, and it is definitely a sight to behold. So what is a gold dredge? Gold dredges, like the Eldorado Dredge, are large floating machines which use steel buckets on a rotating bucket line to excavate materials such as sands and gravels from riverbeds. The buckets lift the material on board and dump it into a hopper, which leads into a trommel that screens the gravels, sending fine material to be cleaned up for gold. The Eldorado Dredge used jigs to extract the gold from the fine material. Bucket dredges were initially developed in New Zealand and then were introduced to the Victorian goldfields in the 1890s. Machinery on dredges was driven by steam at first, and then electricity from the 1930s. The Eldorado Dredge was powered by electricity, supplied via a floating cable from the shore. The Eldorado Dredge was designed by Douglas Percy Fletcher and was built by Thompson's Engineering and Pipe Company in Castlemaine for the Cox Eldorado Gold Dredging Company. Construction began in 1935 and the huge machine was assembled on site and opened mid-1936. What is it that makes the Eldorado Dredge so special? Well, at the time it was built, the Eldorado Dredge was the largest in Australia. It weighed over 2,500 tons and had a pontoon length of almost 70 metres. It was hailed as a great advance in local engineering. The Eldorado Dredge is one of only 2 remaining bucket dredges in Victoria, the other being a small steel dredge located at Maldon. Visitors can get an up-close look at the interior of the Eldorado Dredge, boarding via a steel bridge. You can explore the inside of this impressive machine from a secure walkway down the middle. Information signs set within and around the dredge tell of the machine's rich history. They include detailed diagrams and fascinating photographs, along with a wealth of written information. They explain the machinery you see before you and describe the dredge's operations. This amazing dredge is located in Eldorado, up in Victoria's northeast. I've added a link in the description below, which includes the location of the dredge, along with more interesting information and images. Check it out on the Goldfields Guide website, where you'll discover lots more of the fascinating history of the Victorian goldfields.